So, do you believe, we are at a stage where the center of gravity of the Silicon Valley, so you're saying the 16th, 17th century was London, the 1900s were the Silicon Valley, the American continent, and when you look back and now, and see, okay, for the next 100 years, would you see the center of gravity shifting? Because I think civilizations keep shifting. And do you see a center of gravity shift happening?
I think it's still America.
Okay.
I think if you'd asked me 10 years ago, I'd have said maybe China, maybe somewhere in India.
Hmm.
But I think still America, right? It looked for a while like it was China, but I mean, again, just look at the migration flows, right? It tells you where everyone's going, right? The moment people can move to America to go to Silicon Valley, it could be Miami or Austin, Texas, or somewhere like that. America seems to keep creating the conditions that makes it attractive, right? But remember, they've got a big advantage already because they're already the place to be. It's hard to overcome that advantage.
Correct.
London, I think, gets overcome partly out of bad luck, partly, I think, because of kind of the opportunities that America could already offer from the get-go. But also, I mean, the First World War probably has a big impact. Britain goes from being, in 1914, Britain is the equivalent today of China for being the manufacturer of the world, Saudi Arabia for being the main energy source of the world, because it's nearly all the world's coal is being produced still in Britain, and New York because it's the financial center of the world in 1914. By 1918,
Exactly.
But by 1918, this has changed, right? Like the First World War radically changes it, and Britain becomes a debtor to the United States. So the center of gravity, I think, is officially shifted by the First World War. But I think you can already see that America's trajectory is very kind of rapidly changing and overtaking by around 1900, 1910. You see that in GDP per capita statistics, but I think in a way those are a bit misleading. Like in terms of just center of activity, it definitely shifts in that period. So for it to shift again, I think you'd need America to somehow kind of fumble the ball, just like drop the ball in some way. But look at its energy prices. They're really kind of going all out in terms of creating the infrastructure. They've got plentiful natural gas. They're probably going to still create a lot of nuclear power. They're going to have all of the stuff for cheap energy, which is essential to industry. But not just industry, but like to anyone just living, right? You need energy to do all of these things. They've got so much money going into research and development to the extent that we still rely on basically American pharmaceutical companies to produce all of our drugs in terms of inventing new ones and curing new diseases. And again, the migration flows. And I think China looked like it could be a contender until the last few years, really, when it was like, people suddenly having their doubts about what the state might or might not want to do, seemingly not prioritizing the economy anymore, prioritizing global geostrategic things or their COVID response. All these kinds of things made it seem like it wasn't going to become the new place where things would be done. But who knows? I mean, this is just my conjecture.
Yeah. No. I think it's a very, very beautiful point that you make. And